Hey everybody, it's me, DeoGenZ. Welcome to my Pokemon Crystal walkthrough. We're starting this episode right into the action by getting into a battle with this Pokefan, Rex. He's only got one poke, so I'm guessing it's gonna be, pretty pathetic and easy to beat. But I must remind everyone, this Kanto area, the post-game adventure, really should be focused on raising any team members that you kind of forgot about when it came to the Elite Four. Or it's a time to raise a completely new Pokemon that you had thought about, like, say, Tyranitar? See, now that's a tricky thing. Tyranitar, if you're trying to do this legitimately with as little trades as possible, if you're trying to go the route of the Pokedex completion, that's another great thing that Kanto adventures will bring you, is some extra experience that you don't need phone numbers for, so you can evolve those members that you need their data entry for still. What's up, Mom? Ooh, I love dolls. And that sounds weird, but it excites me to see what kind of Pokemon figures I get to put in my room. But this is a great place to do that if you want to fill your Pokedex up a little bit more with ease. The problem with the whole Tyranitar idea, and if you want to do it without trades, is that I don't believe you'll find a Larvitar until you get to Mount Silver, which, guess what, is not accessible until you defeat another thing that is the finale to the Kanto expedition. I don't want to ruin what it is, but it's not the Elite Four. It's a trainer greater than all of the Elite Four members combined. Yeah, I'm just going to leave you with that. It is extreme. And the reason I don't want to spoil it, although this game is over a decade old, or is it a decade? When this it came out into, it's over a decade old, but still, there are a whole new generation of Pokemon players that may see this game and want to pick it up on eBay or Amazon. I'm fairly certain that you could still get this on Amazon. Amazon's really good like that, even if it's a pretty old game. So I don't want to ruin anything. But that's why I always really... I hated and loved Tyranitar, you know? Because Tyranitar, he's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You could even hear it in his name. But he stands on two legs. He's this towering behemoth, giga rock Pokemon. And it's so hard to get him. It's ridiculous to find him. But he was so awesome. Aw, we can't go this way? Well, I guess then my original idea of heading straight to Saffron City is gonna hold true. Now, is it just me or was there an item over here? You know what? I bet the developers wanted us to think that. This way we would just waste time. Let's see. See if there's anything good. Post in the comments section if I'm walking right over it. I am clicking A as I go, but doesn't seem to be anything up there. But I remember back in the day, I found a Tyranitar card, random pull. And that was one of the greatest days of my life. It's definitely going to be presented in one of my TCG collection videos that I do on Planet Poke. So I will eventually tell the story about that, as far as just how epic it is to get Tyranitar. It's so difficult in this game, but it got a bit easier as you went along. I think that the easiest way that you can find a Larvitar, the easiest game, I should say, that it is to get Larvitar in, would be Black and White, interestingly enough. You couldn't really find a Tyranitar for all those years, so for so long I was deprived of the Pokemon that I wanted most, because you couldn't transfer any of your old Pokes from Crystal or any of the other Game Boy Color games. And so anything that I managed to get, so even if I did get Larvitar and wanted to train it in the Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald era, it wasn't going to happen. There was only one game in that entire generation, unless I missed Larvitar in Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is entirely possible. This was still in the in the days of my Pokemon noobishness, so that could be possible. But there was only one game on GameCube that would help you out. And I won't tell you what it is, because it's going to spoil something that I'm doing already in the future. So there's a place in Viridian called the Trainer House. That's cool. Not really, though. I believe the only way to get new trainers in it was if you found people, and anybody with a link cable and a Game Boy and Crystal, or even Gold or Silver, was very scarce back in those days, so I didn't give that one a lot of a try. I think there was one trainer that you could fight, like, maybe it was Kale? I don't know. Could have been somebody. I believe it's Kale. But you get an upgrade there, which is used to evolve Porygon into Porygon 2 with, once again, the link cable that I had no time to play with back then. I wish that with emulators, because I am playing this one on an emulator, they had it so you could have Wi-Fi connection trades. If anybody knows if that's possible, do tell me so in the comments. I remember Copycat gave us the Magnet Train pass. Do we have to talk to her parents first? Huh. Oh well. Something I didn't talk about that we just did was go to Mr. Psychic's house. Saffron City is home to the Psychic Gym, whose leader is Sabrina, and before you get to her, you can find Psychic at Mr. Psychic's house. He'll give it right to you. He thinks he's so sly, predicting what you want. But he's right. Why else would we go to Mr. Psychic's house but to get Psychic? And at this point in the entire franchise, I think Psychic is the strongest Psychic type move. There's Confusion. There's Lick. No, that's a Ghost type. What am I talking about? There's Confusion. There's... Is Psywave around at this time? I don't even know. I think so. See, when it comes to moves and power and all that, it's really hard for me to remember all these because, quite frankly, I never got the chance to. I just didn't care about it. I went along my day with whatever moveset I needed for victory. But as I make a lot more walkthroughs and do a lot more Pokemon games, older and as a real game player, I'm developing strategies and knowledge that I didn't even have back then. Oh, whoops. Usually when you walk past these people, they'll talk to you immediately. But I guess that the game gives you a break and lets you walk by them if you just go pretty directly. Walk by them quickly so you can get to Sabrina. For Sabrina's gym, you're going to want a Dark-type Pokemon, hands down. There's really little alternative that I could suggest to taking on this gym. Yeah, you could come with a Pokemon that has Bite, and I say that a good one for that, if you do train a team with this Pokemon involved, would be Arcanine. Arcanine does require you to get a Firestone from the schoolboy trainer on the route right outside of the bug catching contest national park area. So you can get Arcanine and you can get Bite, but you're still going to be doing a whole lot of Pokemon Center recoveries, I believe. Unless you are at a significantly higher level than these trainers, it's not that these trainers are something to worry about. Trust me, it's just like Lieutenant Surge's gym. They're optional. They're absolutely optional. See, look, you can walk by them. I have to actually talk to them in order for them to confront me. But, again, it's free experience that you'll never get a chance to get again, because once you face the gym leader, you can't come back to take on these guys. They're like, oh, well, you already have a badge. Why are you even here? So that would just be a silly loss of experience right there. But with Arcanine, when you get to Sabrina, her Alakazam has Recover. So it's going to continue waging strong Psychic-type moves at you while not even caring about Arcanine's Bite. It can recover that no problem. Unless you give it Crunch. And now, I don't know if it can learn Crunch. I'm just thinking that, wait, I walked right by him. Oh, so get that. They don't automatically challenge you by looking at you. I thought they did back then. Huh, interesting. You learn something new every day. Or are reminded of something that you already knew every day. But I'm just guessing that if Arcanine can learn Bite, it could probably learn Crunch. So anything with that potential, anything that can learn Crunch, you know, it's best to bring Crunch instead of Bite. But the optimal situation is to get something like an Umbreon or a Sneasel, which can be found in the Ice Path. So that's a very obtainable Pokemon, not too hard to get. Murkrow is also another good option. But the benefit of not only being super effective against psychic types, but you completely also disable Sabrina's attacks. Once we get there and you see the borders describing her moves, you'll notice that she doesn't really have anything offensive that isn't a psychic type. And if you didn't know, dark types are not even affected a little bit by psychic moves. It's similar to how ground types aren't affected in the least bit by electric types. Same thing applies to dark type relationship with psychic. So you've got an ultimate wall. They're never going to touch you, and you just keep throwing attacks at them until they faint. But I dread that Alakazam. Oh boy, I dread it. I think it's worse than, what's her name? Whitney's Miltank. I was about to say Misty, but Misty doesn't have a Miltank. Yes, but Whitney's Miltank, yes, it used Milk Drink, and yeah, it had that annoying rollout, but Alakazam is far worse. Alakazam is a strong Psychic Pokemon, great special attack stats. And with that Recover, it's a freaking annoyance. It's too bad that Eevee doesn't have Crunch, because that would be more super effective than what I'm going to end up doing probably, which is just Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball has more base power. I don't even think that Umbreon can learn Crunch, because look at its jaw. It's not huge. In order to do a Crunch, you need a big mouth, pretty much. Huh. Yeah, I really don't know off the top of my head which Pokemon learn it, but if you happen upon them, take them to this gym. If you don't have the option of a Dark type, or you just plain don't want one on your team, then bring a couple of Hyper Potions, and bring maybe some full heals. She's not big on paralyzing your Pokemon like Lieutenant Surge was, but by doing Confusion, annoying Disable, but by doing Confusion a couple of times, and also some may possess Confuse Ray in this gym, some of the trainers that you run into, if you want to consistently attack without worrying about hurting yourself, Full Heal will handle that. I'm not sure if many people knew that from the onset, and I'm only saying that not to insult my viewers. You guys are far wiser than I am. But back in the day, I had no idea that Full Heal would heal Confusion. I thought it just helped the stats of Paralysis and Poison and Burn. Now see, this is ridiculous. I don't understand Sabrina in the least bit. And as I mentioned last episode, she was a part of Team Rocket in the manga Pokemon Adventures. So she is very suspicious to me. I don't know why she is in this town. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she's still working for Team Rocket. Look at that uniform. It looks like she's one of the elites or something. But she doesn't even like battling. So what does she do? She becomes a gym leader, where all you have to do is battle all the time. Super strong trainers. Like myself. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. Espeon and Umbreon. Match of evolutions. Who is superior? We know this already. But yep, she only has Swift, so okay. And Quick Attack. That's very minor damage. Oh, look, that's a critical hit. Scary. You know, so she can do a little damage on you, but nothing compared to what she could do to you with that Psychic move. That's why it's so key to bring a Dark type with you. And Dark types are awesome overall. You know, that's a thing that I wish I could get Tyranitar for sooner. Tyranitar would mop up in this gym, being Dark and Rock type. Ah, well, Umbreon is pretty sweet, and it's all we need to beat her. Yeah, great. The most this thing can do is switch, use a Baton Pass to let her Alakazam get a wallop. It's just gonna spam shields. You do that. Oh, what do you know? Same type attack power helps us here, and even though that Shadow Ball has more base power, it does Mr. Mime in. Yeah, you definitely should reconsider your occupation here, Sabrina, because that was just a couple of seconds, and already more than half your team is destroyed. You're just gonna keep reflecting. You could try Future Sight, go ahead. Maybe I'll get nice and decide to switch so you could at least damage some of my Pokemon, you never know. Yeah, you know. And since she doesn't have any other option but to use Psychic and Reflect, or but to use Recover and Reflect, moves that are self-updating, and by self-updating, probably a shitty way to say it, but status moves. Something that increases your status, increases your defense power, or increases your health. Recovery moves. I'm trying to think what the word is, but status moves. I can't get my head off of that. Supporter moves. That's probably a better term for them. Supporter moves. Please, oh, come on. Alright, I'm just gonna... You bitch. All she does is spam re-heal. Don't you understand that victory for you is pointless? You can't achieve it now. You just physically do not have a move to touch me. You're done. Your Alakazam has completely been bricked. It's really laughable and shows the importance of having a diversified moveset, even on a team that is specifically monotype, like the gym leaders. I don't know what Alakazam can do other than psychic stuff, though. Again, I have not looked at the moveset of an Alakazam, but to me it seems like there should be something in its move pool, at least something to help it counterbalance the fact that it can only do psychic moves, because a dark type and no switch alternatives really just defeated Sabrina with no troubles. And we got the Marsh badge. Never understood that. Why is a psychic gym having a Marsh badge? Shouldn't it be something like the Foresight badge? That would make more sense to me. ESP badge? I don't know. Anyway, now we have greater power because the badges, if you didn't know, also increase our abilities. Too bad you can't kick Sabrina out of the gym. That would be sweet. Well, Sabrina, you don't want to run this gym anymore? Fine, I'll take control of it. That'd be really cool if you could convince her to do that. And it would be really interesting if the developers made it so that you would have to do it so you didn't lose any Pokemon. If you could defeat her without any loss of Pokemon, and without using any Hyper Potions or anything, to completely humiliate her, and then she said, you know what, forget this, I'm going, that would have been just priceless. Unfortunately, this gym, which I was hoping still had trainers in it so I could train up my Prince Dozo some more and try out that new Psychic that we got, it's empty. Hasn't been filled with trainers since the red, blue, and yellow days. And that means that Hitmontop and Hitmonchan are no longer here. But we already ran into the Karate Master, if you recall, and we got his Tyrogue, so it's all good in the hood. And I'll see you guys next episode when we head to Cerulean City.